How you feeling after that victory?
I feel all right.
It's a great answer.
I know.
You're pretty good at answering questions.
All right, Puppey, I got a real question for you. Are you guys getting bored of losing by now? Does it annoy you at any way? Because I know that, you're a guy who loves a challenge, and you like to be the king, but you also like to fight for it. It just seems like you guys are so dominant, it must kind of be sad. How do you feel about that?
I just don't like losing, man. I think that's our biggest problem. Like we really hate losing. Not saying that we're like, trying our best a lot of the times or something like that, but just like once we start losing, we really, really, really get our things together, at least. But there has to be a losing time, and it's gonna come sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What can you tell us? How do you feel about the meta right now? And do you think that Omni Knight fits it, or is it something that really worked for this current game only?
I mean, only some teams are ballsy enough to pick like a hero like Omni Knight. I think OG would be one of them, because they've always used Omni Knight as a counter to heroes like Void and Magnus. So I don't know. We just kind of like I just kind of like took an idea from that page and just tried to make it work. And it's not that big of a deal if I lose this game in order to see that it doesn't work against Magnus. But I guess it did work against him. But I'm not really sure if it was the Omni Knight really doing everything for it. It's just I need these things figured out, and these are the perfect times to do so.
I have one final question. What happens when Yapzor buys Monkey King Bar on every single hero? Is there any discussion? Do you yell at him not to, or is this just his deal now?
I think that's his deal now. It doesn't work yelling at him. He's gonna buy it anyway. It just doesn't work. He's been in this team for like 10 years, He knows that he can buy MKBs now. He's like happy. He can do whatever he wants.
Well,
I want to ask just one more thing before we do let you go. When does the fulcrum shift? When do you get in the moment where you're like, okay, we can't afford to play around anymore? Is it when you're out of groups, or how do you actually make that decision with I can experiment and it's do or die time?
I think it comes pretty naturally for the whole team. I think overall, I'm not necessarily experimenting. I'm actually like using ideas that I think should work. If they don't end up working, then it's kind of like, that's the issue. Because it's not necessarily an experiment if I believe that Omni Knight actually does work against these things. And, OG has used it in the past in the TI that we just played. So it's not necessarily like an experiment. So a lot of these times it's kind of like they're just ideas that should have worked back in the time that I wanted to use them, didn't have the chance to use them, and now I get to use them, and all those things. Plus, Omni, I did get buffs, by the way. It's not like this hero is that trashy as people say so.
It's a hypothesis, I guess you would say. But
Flax, come on, it's got some buffs, right?
I mean, he's got a few buffs. I mean, I'm not great, so I don't know how good he is.
You're not playing? Why are you not playing?
Omni Knight, he's hard. I stick to techies, my boy. Speaking of you, where's your support puck? Huh? Where am I seeing that?
I mean, the meta changed, man. It changed the meta, Slacks.
Excuses. You're the best player in the world. You can make it work.
They changed the meta, Slacks.
Challenge him.
I better see that shit before the end, Puppey.
Yeah, in the end, maybe.
Puppey talks about the meta changing. We actually need to change our attention now to the next series. I want to say, Puppey, thank you very much for jumping on this call with us. Thank you very much for the interview, and we wish you a bunch of luck in the future.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Always love getting to talk to Puppey.